What if the person you trusted the most was hiding a dark secret? Imagine living in a world where nothing feels safe, where the people closest to you could be capable of the unthinkable. That's the chilling reality faced by two women, their lives torn apart by the same man, Drew Peterson, the man who seemed untouchable. His manipulative ways kept him above the law for years, but the truth is finally coming to light. Kathleen Savio's tragic death, Stacey Ann Kess's mysterious disappearance. Was it an accident, or something far more sinister? The questions still haunt those who love them. Will the truth ever come out? Don't miss this shocking journey through deception, power, and untold secrets. A normal Sunday morning. It was supposed to be a regular Sunday morning, serene and peaceful. But what awaited Kathleen Seo's friend at her home that day would haunt her forever. Arriving to check on Kathleen, she found her lying motionless in the bathtub, her body cold and bruised. The silence of the scene was deafening, and nothing about it felt right. Initially, it was deemed a tragic accident, but those who knew Kathleen weren't so sure. Something sinister lingered in the air. The man at the heart of it all was her ex-husband, Drew Peterson, a police officer whose past was now beginning to surface in ways that would shatter the illusion of safety he'd once held. And then, years later, another woman vanished without a trace. A man shaped by control and discipline. Born on January 5, 1954, in Bolingbrook, Illinois, Drew Walter Peterson was the firstborn of Betty Morphy and Donald Peterson. From an early age, Drew was molded in the image of his father, a former Marine who ran the household with military precision. There were no choices, only strict rules to follow. Drew's childhood, marked by authority and structure, would later shape his relationships and life choices in ways that would prove devastating. Drew attended high school in Bolingbrook, where he developed a passion for cross-country running. There, he met Carol Brown, his high school sweetheart, and their love story seemed straight out of a picture-perfect romance. But as is often the case in darker tales, appearances can be deceiving. After graduating in 1972, Drew enlisted in the Army and, upon his honorable discharge, pursued a career in law enforcement. By 1979, Drew had gained recognition for his work, earning the title of Police Officer of the Year. However, his accolades masked the cracks forming in his personal life, a pattern of infidelity and manipulation. Drew's marriage to Carol unraveled after she discovered his infidelity, and this was only the beginning. In 1982, Drew remarried Vicki Connolly, and their time together was filled with tension, abuse, and deceit. Drew's double life continued. A man who was meant to protect the public was now betraying those closest to him. He was even caught accepting bribes while working in the narcotics unit, an offense that led to his demotion and a brief dismissal from the police force. But even when his career fell apart, his personal life was far from stable. Vicki eventually left him, but Drew didn't stop his manipulative ways. His next victim was Kathleen Savio, a woman he would marry after his second divorce. Kathleen's life, tragically, followed the same path, marked by deceit and abuse. Despite a strong-willed nature and a career as an accountant, Kathleen found herself trapped in a toxic relationship, unable to escape the man who had slowly begun to suffocate her. A hushed tragedy. On March 1, 2004, Drew Peterson returned his and Kathleen's children after a day spent with them. However, there was one problem. Kathleen didn't answer the door. When a friend checked on her the next day, she found Kathleen dead in the bathtub. The scene was chilling. Bruises marked her body, and there was a serious head injury. Despite this, authorities ruled her death as an accidental drowning. It was a verdict that did not match the evidence at hand. Drew's alibi was airtight, or so it seemed. His new wife, Stacey, confirmed that he was at home with her and the kids the entire time. Drew quickly sold Kathleen's house, moving on with his life as if nothing had happened. But deep down, many knew something was amiss, something that could not be so easily erased. A second life gone. 3 years later, the unthinkable happened again. Drew's third wife, Stacey Ann Kess, vanished without a trace. Stacey, a young nursing student, had dreams of a future that included her children and career. But on October 29, 2007, Stacey was reported missing. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance were eerily similar to Kathleen's death. Drew claimed that Stacey had left him for another man, yet the evidence suggested otherwise. Stacey's family and friends rallied to find her, But Drew remained disturbingly absent from the search efforts. As the investigation into Stacy's disappearance deepened, new questions arose regarding Kathleen's death. Had both women fallen victim to the same predator? Could the man who had been so confident in his ability to manipulate the system be the one responsible for their fates? Unraveling the web of lies. As the investigation into Stacy's disappearance unfolded, the links between Drew and Kathleen's death grew clearer. The evidence, though circumstantial, painted a disturbing picture of a man who believed the rules did not apply to him. A pastor came forward with a chilling revelation. Stacy had confided in him that she believed Drew had killed Kathleen. She spoke of strange events and encounters that suggested Drew had planned the murder in cold blood. Drew's stepbrother, Thomas, also came forward, recounting how he had unknowingly helped Drew dispose of Stacy's body. This revelation, along with testimonies from friends, neighbors, and a suspicious pattern of behavior, led investigators to believe that Drew had, in fact, been behind both women's disappearances. Drew's downfall. The mounting evidence eventually led to Drew Peterson's arrest in 2009, 5 years after Kathleen's death. However, the case faced a significant challenge. Neither Kathleen nor Stacy could testify. This led to the passage of a new law, known as Drew's Law, which allowed hearsay evidence to be used in court when it could be proven that the defendant had caused the witness's unavailability. Despite the lack of physical evidence tying Drew to the crimes, the testimonies from Stacy's friends, family, and even Drew's own stepbrother were enough to bring him to trial. In 2012, Drew was found guilty of the murder of Kathleen Savio and sentenced to 38 years in prison. Yet the case did not end there. While behind bars, Drew continued to manipulate those around him, even attempting to hire someone to kill the prosecutor who had convicted him. The search for Stacy. While Drew was convicted for Kathleen's murder, Stacy's disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Despite years of searching and efforts by Stacy's sister Cassandra, Stacy's remains have not been found. In 2022, Cassandra, using sonar technology, uncovered what appeared to be human remains in a canal. Though there's hope that this could lead to answers, it is still unknown whether the remains belong to Stacy. Cassandra's unwavering determination continues as she fights for justice and seeks closure for her sister's disappearance. The legal system's hands are still tied without the physical evidence needed to charge Drew with Stacy's death, but Cassandra's quest to find the truth presses on. The final chapter. Today, Drew Peterson remains incarcerated at Indiana State Prison. He continues to deny his guilt, despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. But in the end, his life, marked by manipulation, control, and cruelty, has caught up with him. Yet, the true fate of Stacy remains one of the great unanswered questions. Will justice finally be served for her, or will Drew Peterson continue to escape the consequences of his actions? As the years go by, the shadows of Drew's past continue to haunt the families of the women he destroyed. But for those who loved Kathleen and Stacy, the fight for truth and closure remains unwavering. And until Stacy's body is found and the mystery is solved, the story of Drew Peterson's reign of terror will never be truly over. As the investigation continues to unfold, the mystery surrounding Drew Peterson's crimes is far from over. Though he's behind bars, the chilling tale of manipulation, betrayal, and murder still leaves many questions unanswered, especially the fate of Stacy Ann Kess. Will she ever be found? Can justice truly prevail? Stay tuned as we dig deeper into this dark, haunting case. But that's not all we have for you. In our next video, we're diving into a case that will make you question everything you know about power and control. Supervisor didn't accept the refusal and real hell began. The true crime documentary you've been waiting for. Don't miss it. Subscribe now and join us as we unravel the most twisted and unsettling stories of real-life horror.